Hello everyone, it's Meg, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys some book recommendations based on Animal Crossing villages. I actually filmed this video the other month, back in like July or June, but unfortunately the card that I have filmed it on has broke, so I can't get access to the footage, so I'm filming it again. But basically I have had this idea for a little while now, and I did actually check to see if anybody else had done it before, and they have. Basically this video has done before. I will try and leave a link to somebody if they've done the original video or any along those lines. I will try and leave a link in the description if you want to go and check some others out. And I'm basically recommending books based on Animal Crossing characters. I feel like some of the other videos are basing books recommendations to Animal Crossing characters, but I guess this is basically the same thing. And in case you guys didn't know, if you have been on my channel for a while, you will know that I am a massive Animal Crossing fan. I have been playing it since Wild World. I love it so dearly, and I finally got myself New Horizons for my birthday, and I've very much been enjoying it. So I thought this would just be a super fun video to do, and I can always do a part 2 of this in the future if you guys like it. But yeah, so I have 6 Animal Crossing villages and 6 books to recommend, so without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first villager that I have on this list is Marang, and Marang has quickly become one of my favourites. I first discovered her in Pocket Camp. I don't know if she was in New Leaf at all, because I didn't have New Leaf. But she is a rhino that looks like a meringue. She's got like a strawberry and cream horn. She is so cute. I love her dearly. I really want her in my town. But yeah, not got any of my faves in my town in New Horizons yet, but I am determined to. And I based the book recommendations off of some of the descriptions from when I did a bit of a Google on these villagers, and most of them are based on their little bios that are on Pocket Camp, just because personally they are the things that I found most helpful, I guess, when it came to recommending them. So Marang's said, Marang has always felt that she was born to bake. We're not sure where she got that idea from. So obviously I had to choose a book that somehow related to baking, and for that I decided to go for The Upside of Falling by Alex Light. Number 1, I think Marang is somebody who would appreciate a good romance, and that is the main topic of this book. It is a romance, it's a fake dating story, but obviously then it turns into something a bit more. But for the fact that Marang loves to bake, I think she would love the baking aspect of this, because our main character called Becca, nearly forgot her name then, her mum owns a bakery, and often Becca would wake up in the morning with the kitchen filled with bakes, as her mum had been baking all night trying to come up with new recipes. And also when I got this book I did actually get a recipe card in it with it, because I got it in a subscription box. But I feel like I said, Marang would enjoy this. She would love the food descriptions. I think she would really like Jelly Bells, and I said, I feel like she would appreciate the romance as well, because she is a cute character. I think it's kind of like the genre of characters that she's in. So she would love the baking, and she would just wish she was there with the bakery, and I think she would appreciate the romance as well, because I feel like Marang is somebody who would love to get lost in a cute contemporary romance, and I think baking would be on the icing of the cake for her. The next villager that I have is Drake, and Drake is a duck, and Drake is somebody I had in Wild World. He was like one of my faves, one of my OGs, and I don't know if he's going to end up in my town in New Horizons, we shall see. But I had a look at his little bio, and this is what it said. So it said, most of the time Drake is either very hungry or very full. Actually, has anyone ever seen him when he's properly fed? He could be like a totally different person. And I'm basing Drake's recommendation off one aspect of this book. There's probably not too much more of this aspect that Drake would like, but I feel like just because of one of the characters in here, it just reminds me of Drake. So that's what I'm going for. So the recommendation I'm going for is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. The reason why I chose this book for Drake is for the simple factor that he reminds me of Wallace. Wallace is a big ass football player, or American football, I guess that we call it, and Wallace eats a lot. Like, if you read this book, or if you read this book, you would know that Wallace has a huge appetite, and so does Drake. So I feel like that is what he would enjoy that book, because he would be able to relate to somebody who has such a big appetite just like him, and I think he would really vibe with that. And I think he would also really like the fact that Wallace is a football player as well, and I think it's just something he would really like. I think he would kind of also like the whole aspect to do with Eliza's comic as well. I think he would kind of find that quite interesting. I could see Drake as a gamer to a certain extent, but like I said, I feel like he would definitely relate to the aspects of Wallace and being able to relate to somebody who is, or used to be, a rugby player or football player, whatever you want to call it, and also has a big appetite. So slightly random recommendation, but I feel like it fits. Next up we have Fauna, and Fauna is a cute little deer, and again she's one of my faves. I have her on Pocket Camp, I do not have her on New Horizons. But on her little bio it says, Fauna is polite, reliable and loved by all. She really doesn't have any major flaws. Well, other than her hyper-competitiveness. If you play cards with her, don't make eye contact. And I had to think about this for a while, but in the end I decided to go for Tweet Cute by Emma Lord, and I decided to go for this book because number one, it's contemporary, and I feel like Fauna would really like contemporary. I could see her as somebody who is also into contemporary romances, because she's, again, I think she's one of those cute characters, but also because there is a Twitter war that goes on with this book. That's like one of the main things about this book. And I feel like Fauna, if she was in a Twitter war, she would be savage for the factor of her hyper-competitiveness. And I think she would be all for it, and there's also swimming in here as well, so there's that slight competitiveness of that. It's not like a main point in the story, but it is something that our two main characters do share in common apart from the Twitter war. So I think she would love the banter, she would love all the stuff that goes down from this Twitter war. I think she would be living for it, and she would wish that she could take part as well. Because let's be real, I don't think Fauna would back down until she had won. But yeah, so that's why I chose Tweet Cute, and I don't know if Fauna's much of a food person, but I feel like she would enjoy the food aspects of this anyway, because I just feel like she would. Next up we have KK Slider, and how could I not choose our favourite dog musician. KK is just a classic Animal Crossing character. Obviously he always used to come in New Leaf, anyway, not in New Leaf, in Wild's World even, and play at the cafe in the museum every Saturday evening, and I think it's still every Saturday in New Horizons as well. And obviously he is an OG. I could not do this video without including an OG character from Animal Crossing, so I had to choose a book that related to music because obviously KK is a musician. So for that I decided to go for 1,000 Perfect Notes by C.G. Drews, and like I said, I simply chose this book for him for the fact that it is based around music, because this book is about a main character named Beck, and his mum used to be a professional pianist, but then one time she had a stroke, which means that her hand shakes so she can no longer play. So she basically forces Beck to play the piano almost as a form of torture, and Beck doesn't want that. He wants out of it. He's more interested in the composing side, and he doesn't like how his mother, or the maestro as he calls her, to how she is dictating him. And I just feel like KK would love the story about this. Obviously it's about music, and I feel like he would be able to appreciate the musical references in this book. I certainly did when I read it. But I feel like he would just appreciate the story. It's a very heartfelt but also heartbreaking story at the same time. And KK is like kind of a hippie to a certain extent, but so I feel like he would like one of the families that are in here. I think he would be able to vibe with them. But I think he would just appreciate a really heartfelt story about somebody who does want to be part of the music industry but doesn't want to go in the direction that his mum is forcing him to go in. So I feel like that's why KK would like this book, and like I said, I feel like he would appreciate it, and I don't think you could ever go wrong with a book about music for KK. Next up we have Julian, and Julian is a unicorn. I have not had Julian on any of my Animal Crossing games so far. I'm not sure when he was first introduced, but his little bio says, Julian's always been a little wild and free-spirited. Hey, if you were born with a horn on your head for some inexplicable reason, you'd be an oddball too. And I had two choices for this video for recommendations for Julian, but I think I'm going to go with The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee, and I decided to go for this because Julian is classed as like a snooty character. There's like different sorts of characters in Animal Crossing that kind of clumped into like personalities, and Julian is kind of grouped into being like a snooty character. And I feel like he would vibe with Monty, our main character in this, because Monty's a little bit stuck up. He is a little bit juvenile, he's reckless, but at the same time he doesn't feel like he fits in with his family, as he is expected to take over his family's estate after he has been on a tour of Europe, and he doesn't want to do that. So obviously, like I said, Julian's a bit of an oddball, so I feel like they would vibe on that factor about how they both feel a little bit out of place, even though Julian, I don't know if Julian's reckless. Monty is definitely reckless. If you have read this book, you will know what I mean. But I feel like they would be able to vibe off their personalities, and I think Julian would appreciate a bit of adventure. I think he'd appreciate the romance in here as well, and I think he would get Monty's sense of humour as well. I don't know if Julian's much of a funny character. I haven't like spoken to him much in the games when I have played and seen him, but I feel like he would get his sense of humour and he would just find this book a right old laugh and still be able to relate to it at the same time. And last but by certainly no means least, we have Goldie, and Goldie is my OG, like my OOG for Animal Crossing. She was one of the first villagers that came into my town in Wild World, and she's in my pocket camp. I am desperate to get her on New Horizons. I have not seen her yet though. I feel like it's actually quite hard to get hold of Goldie because I think she's so popular. But I love Goldie. She is my cute little Labrador retriever and I love her so much. And for Goldie, I found a little thing about her that says, I read in a book that the sun has a strange power to make people happy. Just wanted to share. So that's not her original bio, I think, but that's one of the things that I found. And I think Goldie likes to read. From what I gather, and I feel like she is somebody who appreciates romance as well, and just like a really lovely whimsical book. So for this I'm going to choose I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith, and like I said before, I feel like she would love this book because it is sort of about books to a certain extent, and it's also about writing. I feel like Goldie would like that. I can see Goldie as a writer, and also the fact that it's just such a lovely, whimsical, idyllic story, and I feel like Goldie would be here for that. I feel like she would love Cassandra, she would love all of the characters in this book. I feel like she would really appreciate the romance as well. I feel like it's just something Goldie would be up for. I feel like she'd love a cute, swoony, coming of age romance. I feel like she would just be utterly charmed by it. And it's just like a classic book. I feel like it's like, I want to say it's a modern classic. I don't know if it's officially count as that, but I feel like it is. And I feel like this is just a book that is right up Goldie's street. I feel like the setting, the atmosphere, the characters, the plot, the romance, I feel like it's just everything that Goldie would want in a book. And that's why I think she would love it and why I chose it for her. So there you have it, guys. Those are the books that I chose to recommend to you based on some Animal Crossing villages. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully I will not lose the footage of this video, seeing as I can't get access to the footage for the first time, but it's something a little different and a little fun. So I may do a part 2 of this in future. Maybe if you are interested, let me know in the comments, and if you have any specific villages that you'd like me to do it for, that'd be fun. Or maybe different TV shows. I know Meg has done a video where she did a recommendation video based on some of the queens from RuPaul's Drag Race. I think that's such a fun idea. I may do that in the future because I feel like it was an absolutely wonderful idea, and obviously Drag Race is one of my faves. But yeah, I just thought it'd be super fun, and I love Animal Crossing, and any excuse to combine books and Animal Crossing together is like a win-win for me. If you like this video, then please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you would like to see more bookish videos from me, then make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon so you'll be noted every time I post a new video. As always, I will leave links to my social media along with the links to my Goodreads in the description down below for you guys. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you so much, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!